Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to you and you and you and you and you. We're super excited to take out just a few minutes to be with you. We're not going to be on here long. This is one of those days where the aftermath is trying to invade my territory. So we're going to be obedient to not the coughing or whatever. We're being obedient to what God allows us to do, right? So I am super excited to have you tune in for a brief moment with me. Like I said, I'm not going to be here long. Just want to come on and just give you just a little bit of moments, a few moments of time in this season for us to be able to experience what God has prepared for us, right? And so I'm just going to invite a few people. I usually don't like, Leslie will come on, she'll probably hit me later. But, I don't do a whole lot of tagging and all that kind of stuff because I feel like, it's up to you what you want to do with your life and what you want to see in this season. And so we just, I'm just going to tag a few folks just to let them know because some people come on and they'll tell me, you didn't let me know you were on this morning. I was waiting for you to get on and blah, 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 blah. So I want to make sure I invite those people who really wanted to be a part. To those of you that are watching from behind the scenes, for whatever reason why you're behind the scenes, welcome, welcome, and I'm glad you're here regardless. Because if you're here, then it means there must be something that you desire to hear, something that you must desire that God has allowed you to be here with us. There's so many reasons why you could be here this morning with me. And so I'm just going to say welcome, welcome, welcome to all of you from behind the scenes and that are up front and personal with me this morning. If you see me hesitate, it is because I like to breathe through the process. Especially for those of you that, have experienced breathing issues in your past or in your present or right now, however that works. Because sometimes it still flares up. It is still an issue. So as, we talk to we'll talk to our doctors on today. We will continue to drive that into, excuse me, the conversation. And so, again, we just want to come on and just give you just a little something. You know how we do. I hope that you're enjoying today. Here in North Carolina, in Greensboro specifically, they're saying that the temperatures are going to be about 70 degrees. Can you believe that it is wintertime, but we're still getting all of that great beautiful weather that God has allowed us to have? I think God is just amazing because He knows what we need, when we need it, and how we need it. Can I just say He knows what we need, how we need, and when we need it. And so He's allowing us to have this beautiful weather, and I'm enjoying it until He decides to do whatever He does. Because whatever God does, it is God's purpose, right? And so, I want to remind everybody, first of all, if you're new to my program, my name is Victoria Holland. I am the CEO, founder, and facilitator of Victoria Elevates. And Victoria Elevates means to rise above anything and everything that anything and everything that has held us down and caused us to feel inadequate, my friends. But can I tell you, with you and I together, we rise above all of that. We go above anything that's held us down. See, because in this season, it's our season to be what God has intended for us to be. And so, no matter what has held us down, we can move above that. We can go past that, and we can get to that next level, and we can see things on a different page. So this morning, I want to talk about something very simple. Because it's Friday, most people use the phrase Fantastic Friday. They use a lot of different acronyms, if you will. Today, I just want to talk about it's your freedom to breathe, right? It's your freedom to breathe, and a lot of that entails. We've been talking about the last couple of days. We've been talking about. Beginning and where we start. And, yesterday we talked about removal. Well, today I want to talk to you about having the freedom to breathe. Just having the ultimate freedom to breathe in and out. You know, we teach people sometimes, you know, I have anxieties. I have had anxiety attacks in my past. And one of the things that we always say is just breathe with me. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Well, that's a good concept. You know, when some of my coaching sessions, you know, when my client is getting, you know, elevated, I'll say, okay, just breathe in and breathe out. It is something about the mechanisms that God has given us to breathe that empowers us to go to another level. It enlightens us to have some things to happen that we may not seem to understand at this time, at this season, right now. Okay, because this is the reason why when you're starting over, when you're beginning to see something different, when you're beginning to re-evaluate some things, when you're even getting ready to process the next level of your life, sometimes the best thing that you can do, the best advice I can give you, if I was to give you advice, was to allow yourself to breathe. Right? Because that freedom of inhaling, exhaling, it takes you to a whole nother place in your atmosphere when you can actually breathe, right? And you say, okay, Coach, what's so important about breathing? Well, let me tell you something. Through having COVID, or had COVID and still in the what we call the haulers, you know, it means I'm carrying it longer than the symptoms, if you will, longer than I should. One of the things I can tell you that I've learned through COVID is how important my breathing actually is, right? You know, I've known this for quite some time, even when I was dealing with my former coach that I was with. One of the things that she shared with me, Coach Donna Neely, if you're out there, I give tops up to you, my friend. One of the things that she used to tell me is that, you know, she knew that something was going on with me because of the way that I was breathing, right? And so when I was exercising with her, when I was in her under her program, it's a phenomenal program. When I was under her program, she would always tell me, you need to breathe. You need to learn how to breathe, right? And so over the process, I learned that the freedom, that is such a freedom to be able to breathe, right? Okay, that's one thing. When you're exercising, you need to breathe, right? Okay, so the second thing was this. When I got sick, I learned that, you know, breathing was more important than sneezing at that point. You know, breathing is still more important than anything that I can imagine right now, right? You know, that breath, right? So when we're talking about beginning, it's important for you to know that you can breathe. To those of you that are coming in from behind the scenes, welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, if you're going to be watching this later, hey, Michelle, my good friend, good to be with you. Michelle B. Heaven, seize your moment. Hey, Coach Donna, I just talked about you, my good friend. Thank you so much for joining me for a brief moment. I appreciate all of you. But as we were, you know, those of you that are coming from behind the scenes, come on in. But as I was just saying, Coach Donna, you know, there's something about that breathing, because when I was with Donna's program, she would always tell me, I could tell that you were having an issue by the way that you were breathing. She's probably saying, I can tell it right now too. But one of the things she always said, that's how you know. That's one of the things. And she would tell me as I was exercising, breathe. You got to learn how to breathe. You got to learn how to breathe. Can I be honest with you? That was one of the best advice I was given, right? And if I could give you an advice today, I want to tell you that it's important that you learn how to breathe effectively. And I'm not talking just about breathing like I'm doing right now. I'm talking about breathing in your mind, right? I'm talking about breathing in your own atmosphere. I'm talking about breathing to give your own self life. See, this is the thing. When you give yourself freedom to breathe, one of the things that I learned through the process of breathing was that I was holding too much and not how do I want to phrase this? I want to say I was inhaling too much and I wasn't exhaling. Can I be real transparent with you. It is okay for you to exhale what is not good for you. You're removing those toxics out of your body. Can I be honest with you? When I am thinking about breathing now, I have to sit and I have to ask myself, is it conducive for me right now? Because coming back from this, and I claim complete healing, one of the things that I learned is that I have to give myself opportunity to breathe, right? Even when I may have to walk with the inhaler right now in my pocket, the fact of the matter is that is not what's causing me to breathe or not to breathe. It's only an assistance to the process. Can I be honest with you? Sometimes you need assistance to be able to learn how to breathe. There is something, I can't even tell you how I'm feeling on the inside right now. If I could just take you and put you inside of my mind and my body, I can tell you that on the inside, the freedom that I have to breathe is so important to me now that I can always imagine what it was that I was holding myself back from. When I tell you the delays that sometimes I'm experiencing because of the aftermath, if you will, some of the times when I have to take a moment and experience that breath, can I tell you how important it is that you learn how to breathe freely? As we're talking this morning, I was listening to some things, and I was listening to the prayer call on this morning, and I was reading some information, I was reading some material, and all of those things. I was reading my scripture for the day. All of these things. One of the things that God kept saying to me was, you have the freedom to breathe. See, this is the thing. If you have not given yourself that opportunity, let me encourage you that how important it is for you to breathe. You're saying, Coach, okay, well, when you're saying I get it, that I need to inhale, I need to exhale, I know that it's important, but what are you really saying? What does it got to do with being elevated and not tolerated? Can I be honest with you? A part of breathing freely, having that freedom to breathe, is this right here. You have permission to speak your mind through your own breath. You have permission through breathing freely that you can be anything that you desire to be if you allow God to put that process in you, right? God gave us, he breathed the breath of life into us, right? So for that very reason, he has given us the freedom to breathe whatever we want. He has given us the freedom that we need to give permission to our life, to give permission to what we believe and what we think. See, so many times the reason why our minds are head, and I'm a migraine sufferer, if you will. I claim healing on all of that. It's a diagnosis. It's not me. So check this out. When I tell you when your mind gets cluttered with a lot of stuff, with a lot of garbage, it's holding you back from the freedom that you need, right? When I tell you that even when you begin to release all those molecules and olicules, and if Coach K was on, she would tell you what the other part of that is. But when I tell you, when you get all of that in your mind and it's moving and shifting, sometimes the greatest thing, that sometimes the hardest thing is for you to let go. It's a thing for you to have that freedom to breathe. When you are speaking into your own atmosphere, I tell this is a part of what I teach in my positive self-building class, that this right here is your space, but this over here is your atmosphere. So what I'm speaking to you today is the freedom that you have to breathe into your atmosphere. You have to change how you even think about it. Sometimes the breathing concept, it gives you freedom. If you have freedom, you give permission to yourself to speak to whatever you desire, and it shall come to pass. See, the thing is, you got to learn with, I think Lisa Washington has a book that she talks about superheroes or superpowers. One of the things I can tell you, hey Jack, thanks for joining me this morning. When I tell you, one of the things that I want you to understand is that one of your superpowers, if you will, is the concept of being given the freedom for yourself to breathe. You can give permission to what you want to speak into your atmosphere. You can breathe breathe it because you have given birth to it. Have you ever noticed, have you ever looked at the birthing of a baby? One of the first things that they look for is the child to have an automatic experience about breathing. Can I tell you, you have the authorization for yourself to give yourself freedom to breathe out, inhale and exhale what you need to do. You can give yourself permission to speak on your own behalf. That's a freedom that is sometimes mishandled. It is sometimes sabotaged by the concept that we have been programmed to believe certain things about ourselves that is not true. Can I be honest with you? If you give yourself permission to be free to breathe, you'll be able to speak what you want. Sometimes when I have gotten up in the morning to actually do the lives, I have to give myself a moment. I have to speak to my own inner self, and I say, I'm giving you permission to breathe what you believe is to be real, what you believe to be is true. See, the thing is, when you know who you are. Hey, Melanie, thanks for joining. Thanks for being with me this morning. When I tell you at the end of the day, there is something about having freedom. When I think about Victoria Elevates, I'm raising up people. I'm assisting people to rise above anything that's held them down. See, the thing is, you cannot allow anyone to take away your brand. You cannot allow anything to keep you from thinking. As I was preparing last night for what I was going to be talking about today, I kept hearing, certain things in the atmosphere. And one of the things that God kept saying was, you got to understand that you got the freedom now that you've never had before. I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine, my daughter. I was having a conversation with her on a few weeks ago, and one of the things she says, Mom, I give you permission. Check this out. I give you permission to stop parenting, right? And what she meant was, I give you permission for stop being there all the time, right? I give you permission from not having to worry so much about you being my mother, right? And that was a freedom there. See, I don't know about you, but when I have the freedom to breathe, I can breathe out whatever I need to breathe. I can breathe out what I feel is the deepest in my emotion. As we were talking last night on a Zoom, one of the things that one of the young ladies and I was talking about was that, people always ask you how you doing. And the first thing that you'll say is, I'm good. I'm good. But it is truly okay for you to breathe freely how you feel. How do I feel today? I'm a little tired because I still have side effects from having COVID. So I'm a little tired right now. That's the reason why I'm not going to be on here long, because I'm going to rest my body. See, I don't know about you. Oftentimes we are so afraid of releasing. We are still holding ourselves hostage by our own handcuffs. We're still holding our own self hostage. You don't have to hold yourself hostage. You can release and be free to breathe as you want to breathe. You can release and give yourself permission to speak those things into the atmosphere that you need to be heard. You can give your permission to speak your truth. See, the thing is, we get so worried about all of these things. A good friend of mine, Ray, talks about, and he teaches about strongholds. Have you ever can I tell you that one of the things that you're probably experiencing is holding you from breathing freely, is that you have a stronghold that needs to be broken? I don't know about you. There are some things that I've learned over these last 4 or 5 months that you don't have to be in a box. You can be outside of the box. It's okay to breathe. Okay. See, this is the thing. Even with having the inhaler in my pocket, that doesn't mean that the inhaler controls me. What controls me is my freedom. What controls what I am going is my freedom. Have you asked yourself, did you give yourself permission? See, this is the thing. Giving yourself permission. Come here. Let me tell you a little secret. You can give yourself permission to breathe. You can give yourself permission to begin all over and restart the things that you know that God has purposed in your life. It's okay. Can I tell you how many times I've gone back into the gym? Can I tell you how many times I have restarted my walking? Can I tell you how many times? It's not because sometimes I'm using it as, I'm not going to say it hasn't been an excuse at some point, because it has. Oh, I get tired. But guess what I've given myself permission to do? Have the freedom to restart. Can I speak this into your life today? I'm giving you something that you can hold on to, right? I'm giving you a nugget that you can chew on. You can give your permission and your freedom to breathe and say, I can start again. You can create a new environment for yourself. You can create that new relationship with inside of you. Because when I'm telling you, a lot of people are talking about relationship conferences and all of those things. Let me tell you something. It's not just about boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. It's about having a relationship with you on the inside. It's about having a relationship with everybody. See, one of the things as a relationship coach, because I have multi hats under my belt as a master coach. See, the thing is, one of the things that I learned in my training was this: to everything that you go through, you have to breathe through it. You have to give it permission. See, how about this? If we allow ourselves to breathe freely, if we allow ourselves to breathe freely, then nothing can hold you back but you. I'm free. I am free to breathe, y'all. I have said it for over 20 years, I know. You never want to meet Mahalia. You always want to stay with Victoria. Why? Because Mahalia is the chick that don't think about breathing. She's an actor. She's an action person. Victoria is the one that takes in it, and Victoria elevates by breathing. I'm telling you today, it's important for you to breathe freely. Speak to yourself. Speak to your atmosphere. Speak to those things around you and tell yourself it's okay to breathe. You have permission to freely breathe. You have permission to speak over your own things, and you can freely do so. You have permission to be free. But being free means that you can breathe now. Being free means that that breath that you take is not held down by anything. Look, guys, I got to get ready to go because I got to rest. I got 2 doctor's appointments today, so I got to rest in between all of that. So check this out. It's time for you to breathe. It's time for you to breathe, okay? I just want to tell you again today, you have the freedom to breathe. Inhale and exhale, because Victoria Elevates wants you to understand that breathing is essential. Breathing is not just something that Donna teaches it. Breathe. And she would put her hand on my stomach and she would show me the difference of how I was breathing. She would show me. See, this is the thing. Show yourself how important your breath is. Show yourself how much that one breath can give you peace. I'm telling you. See, that one moment right there that didn't allow me to breathe freely could have been my last breath. See, I'm encouraging you through all the deaths and things that we're seeing around us, through all of the things that we've seen. You know, everybody wants to talk about COVID, but there were people dying before COVID came. There were people dying before they diagnosed with COVID. Come on, y'all, let's be real. But at the end of the day, all of that around you, can I be honest with you? That breath is important to you. And you have to have the freedom to breathe. So give yourself permission to breathe. Give yourself permission to disagree. Give yourself permission to stand on your own 2 feet. Give yourself permission to be free to breathe. Because, my friends, I always want you to remain elevated and not tolerated. We'll see you real soon.